Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we will begin by creating a clay initial. Your focus is going to be on craftsmanship or neatness and experimentation with different textures and designs. This is a really great first project because you will be able to trace your initials onto the clay and you can really begin to get a feel for how the clay works and reacts to different tools and textures. Once these pieces are finished, when we come back to school, they can eventually be turned into really fun keychains, a bar of soap, or even a piece of chocolate. Let's get started. So here you can see that I am starting off with my solid block of clay. I ripped it in half, but I want to stress that it's important to keep it as flat as possible. I put mine on just a little paper plate, but feel free to work on any surface that you feel comfortable with. I am going to be using a printed out initial of the letter M, but if you don't have access to a printer, you can easily just draw a bubble letter or a block letter by hand on any sheet of paper. And here you can just see that I'm cutting it up. And I'm going to do a little time lapse of how I begin to trace my letter onto my clay. Once you're done tracing the outline, you can peel off your paper and then you can see that it's a perfect outline of your initial. You are now going to take your needle tool and you can see I'm slowly scoring the clay. I'm not trying to cut it all at once. The needle tool is a little thin and sometimes trying to push through all the clay at one time will bend it. And we only have one needle tool, so we really want to make it last. So just do a little bit at a time. Slowly start to cut through and make your way around your letter. And I'm going to do a little time lapse so you can see the process. Once your initial is completely cut out, you're going to want to clean up the edges and the sides a little bit more. You might notice that there are these little kind of crumbs in the cracks of your initial. So right now I'm just taking my finger and I'm smoothing out the edges a little bit so it's not as rough. And then I'm taking this wooden stick tool and I'm trying to get into some of the little cracks and crevices so I can clean those up as well. You really want to make sure it's as neat as possible. That's what we're really focusing on with this project. Once you have it completely smoothed out, you can start to work on designing your projects. So you can use a variety of different tools. It's your time to explore here. So you can see I have this piece of lace and I'm pushing it into the clay and rubbing it with my wooden stick tool. And rubbing it like that will make it stamped into the clay a little bit, so it'll just add a little bit more texture. I also used these little letter stamps to write out my name, but you can also use these alphabet soup noodles, which work really well. So if you have those in your pantry or any other noodle, those actually look really cool when pressed into clay. These little stamps that I bought were actually at the dollar store of Target, so if you're ever there and you don't mind spending $1 or $2, take a look at the different stamps they have there. So I'm just kind of going down, I'm really focusing on lining them up, and I will fast forward so you can see my process here. When you are creating with clay, you can really start to explore all the different options that are available, and you'll be surprised to find that tools and things that you never thought would be something that you could create art with would be something that you can use with clay. So explore, look around your house, and see what you have available that you can use for this project.